Wake up, PreHealth Sharks. It is time for another edition of our Wake Up PreHealth Sharks webinar. So today, as always, we have a group of experts. We're going to bring their insights on your pre-health goals, pre-health topics. And today we're going to be talking about how to prepare and get ready for a successful fall semester. My name is Emilio Lorenzo. I'm the Associate Director of Employer Relations. And I'm going to hand it over to our experts to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabby and I'm an Edge Advisor in the Center for Academic and Professional Success.
And hello everyone, my name is Danny and I'm a Career Advisor also in CAPS. And since we're just a week until classes, this is a super relevant presentation and we're glad to have you tuned in.
Boom, boom, boom. We are energized. We're ready to give you these amazing tips. And as always, this is for you to learn, and we're going to be recording this and adding it to our YouTube page. This is part of our monthly webinar, so every month we tackle different topics. So let's dive into our fall prep for success.
Awesome. Thanks, Emilio. So we first want to start off by just acknowledging that this is very much an adjustment time for students. Regardless if you are an incoming freshman, if you're a junior or a senior, this has been a period of an adjustment for everyone, especially if you are a pre-health student. It's important to acknowledge that COVID-19 has had implications for pre-health students. I personally really think that this is a time of growth for our pre-health students to really see how this global health crisis has affected our world right now. And I almost feel like pre-health students should feel lucky in a way that they are going into a field that can help people in so many different ways, but also just make changes globally. And I'm sure Danny and Emilio, you guys can agree with that too. But it's important to acknowledge that this is going on and it is affecting pre-health students gaining experiences as well, which we're going to talk about. But it's important to remember to stay adaptable, stay flexible with the certain circumstances that are going on, and getting creative with options, which we'll be talking about too in this presentation. And most importantly, taking care of yourself as a student. You are a human being first. You can't do anything unless yourself is taken care of. So keeping that in mind, just always checking yourself every morning when you get up, seeing how you feel before you tackle the day.
Some great points, Gabby. And I know we're going to be talking about a lot of different experiences in this webinar. But I think that phrase you said, getting creative with your options, is really important because obviously some things might be more limited, like shadowing opportunities. But there's a lot of things out there because of what's going on with COVID-19 that will give you exposure into the field. But you need to evaluate each one, make sure it's the right fit for you, if it's safe. But from contact tracers on, there are opportunities that have come up because of COVID-19.
Definitely. All right, so just like we acknowledged, this is a different and challenging time for a lot of students right now. But it's still important to keep your goals in mind. So with that being said, as a pre-health student, we want to bring up the 5 pillars of pre-health. I know we did a Wake Up Pre-Health Sharks webinar on this a couple months back, but just to give you guys a little bit of a refresher on these 5 different areas you should be focusing on as a pre-health student. The first being academics. Very important to focus on your grades. It really is those grades and those scores that get you into any of these healthcare professional programs. So your academics should always come first. Healthcare experience right after that, so that, you know, really focus experience to any area that you're really wanting to go into, whether that be being in medicine, being in dentistry, being optometry, whatever that is, getting that direct exposure, which of course will look different nowadays. Research, which also helps you gain a multitude of different skills that will help to set you apart for any program that you're wanting to go into. Leadership and professional experience, also extremely important, being a leader in any kind of area that you want to be in, whether it's on campus or off campus. Same thing with professional experience. So doing anything professional, it doesn't necessarily have to be healthcare related. Maybe that's working as an RA or working at a bookstore, just some examples. And then community involvement, very, very important to give back to the community and be there for others, especially during this time. I think a lot of programs are really going to want to see a lot of that community involvement heighten on resumes and applications, because giving back during this time is extremely important.
Absolutely. And I think no matter where you stand, whether you're an incoming freshman to, your senior year, all these 5 pillars are very relevant for yourself, whether you're trying to see what can I be doing in my 4 years or what should I be doing on my last year before graduating and evaluating grad school, professional school options. But each one of these pillars are very crucial to your success as a pre-health major.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're going to dive into just some examples of things that you as a pre-health student can start to focus on during this time and beyond. So like I said, community involvement is very important, so volunteering in any way that you can. We wanted to just discuss some ways that you can volunteer in a virtual capacity or virtual way, especially during this time when we are social distancing and all of that fun stuff. So doing anything from being an active listener or doing a crisis text line, so being there over text for people who are in distress or who need it during this time is super awesome. This is an opportunity that a lot of my students have actually done during this time, and I've heard great things. Doing things like online tutoring or mentoring for different organizations if you can. Translation Without Borders, which is a way that you can translate for nonprofit organizations, also virtual. Calling different hospice or retirement centers. I think this one's extremely important because these people who are in hospice or in retirement homes really need someone to talk to, especially during this time. Can get super lonely, especially in these areas. So just being there for someone, even if it's just a short conversation, can really make someone's day. Making masks and cards, masks especially, we all need to be wearing masks nowadays, especially for around other people. So if you can make them, that's super awesome. And then same thing for giving cards, whether it's at hospice, retirement homes, there's so many different ways that you can give back. I know, Emilio, you brought this up, contact tracing. This is huge nowadays. I've actually had a student that did this. You can do it part-time or full-time, but really getting in contact with people who've been exposed to COVID-19 is super important to slow the spread of this virus. So being a contact tracer, I think, is going to look phenomenal in any sort of resume or application. Same thing with resource coordinating. And then lastly, Meals on Wheels and grocery delivery services. There's a common theme with all of these. Really, any way that you can give back to the community will be important. This list is not exhaustive. You can do a lot of different things during this time virtually, but these are just some examples that we wanted to give you guys for now.
Yeah, those are great, Gabby. And what I love about volunteering opportunities too is that you're meeting a lot of fantastic people and you can get really creative with what kind of opportunity you can do in a time like this. Make it convenient for yourself and doing it from home. And sometimes some of these positions, like even that position Gabby highlighted, calling the hospice and retirement care centers, those can lead to potential internships or jobs later on too when they see the commitment you're putting in. So it's great to see some of these options out here.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree.
And I think both of you guys even talked about like getting involved in these things, not only open up doors of opportunities, but remember that it's transferable skills in those settings, working with different types of patients, diverse patients, elderly patients. These are the type of experiences that medical schools look for, because they're going to teach you the clinical knowledge when you get in there or through your research. But some of these things really develop your bedside manner, your approach, your patients, and just being able to communicate with all different types of patients.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll be going into some leadership opportunities too. It's a little bit like we're going into the 5 pillars again, but in very unique ways, specifically for fall prep with everything going on. So I've been seeing a lot of on-campus roles taking place that are even different from what we've had before. For those of you who may have heard around social media now, because we have the blend flex model going on with a lot of our academic courses, there's going to be an on-campus position called a room shark. So they're looking for students to be basically like tech support for professors inside the classroom, turning on Zoom. So that's a great way for students, whether it's pre-health related or not. You can gain, like Emilio said, some of these transferable skills to show you can be a good communicator, provide tech support, immediate assistance, things like that. And there's different opportunities on campus if you go on our JobX website on SharkLink, and then feel free to come to us anytime and we'll help you in those applications and resumes to find what opportunity is good for you. Clubs and organizations are still going to be around and up and running this semester too. They just may function in a little bit of a different way. So it's good to keep in mind if you're still interested in like a pre-PA society, a pre-med club, whatever it might be. Check out their social media or check out Shark Hub to see how it is that they're getting involved this semester. They might be hosting their meetings on Zoom. They might still be doing some volunteering opportunities. So keep an eye out because that could be a good way to still be involved with these clubs. And you know, you can be involved with other organizations as well that aren't just pre-health societies. So even, I know like the Campus Cursive is one of my favorite organizations on campus that really promotes just being a good person and leaving positive affirmations. So it'll be interesting to see how they get creative on campus too, because I really love what they do to make people feel good. And what a time like now than to really spread that positivity around. And then keeping an eye out just for the offices around campus that always have positions like tutoring, orientation, being an RA in housing and residential life. Those positions, they come yearly, usually around later fall. So they're good ones to keep an eye out for too, just in optimism that next year things will be a little bit more put together for these positions to be up and running again and show those leadership abilities to the med schools you want to apply for. And so next I'll go into some shadowing and pre-health experiences. And I know this is probably the topic a lot of my pre-health students really, they've been asking me a lot of questions about, since it is a little bit tougher. So these are some creative options I know some people have been doing. Scribing and telescribing, that's been a huge position right now, especially telescribing and working remotely. So telescribing and scribing, it involves following around basically either a physician, a nurse, or nurse practitioner, and you're helping them in taking basically notes during the appointment, writing down what it is you're learning about the patient, you're charting those encounters, and it really teaches you a lot too about medical terminology and what a physician is saying to a patient. So that's great exposure to be in a scribing role like that. Next, if you have the stomach for it, you can look into phlebotomy too, which is a position that involves drawing blood for tests, transfusions, doing research. And a lot of these people, they do gain a certification first, but it does lead to a great position that also looks fantastic when you're applying to med school. And lastly would be a medical assistant. Sometimes it's also known as a clinical or clinical medical assistant. And this position, it varies duties depending on the location or the healthcare professional you work for. But for the most part, it involves a lot of administrative duties like updating medical records for a patient, scheduling appointments for them, sterilizing equipment potentially, taking vital signs. It depends on the office, but that's the majority of what medical assistants do. In Florida, there's not necessarily a license required to be a medical assistant, but they do prefer candidates who do try to look for some sort of license. And lastly, kind of like Emilio mentioned, shadowing opportunities are a little bit thinner right now and harder to find. However, there have been some professionals in healthcare, like physicians, who have been offering these shadowing opportunities in telehealth format. So maybe talk to someone, talk to a physician you might work with or see on a regular basis and see what kind of opportunity they have for you. Maybe if you show you're extra flexible with them and willing to work around their schedule, you might be able to work out some sort of shadowing opportunity this fall.
I was going to bring up, Danny, so you have a student that actually shadowed at like 2 different places this past summer during COVID, right?
I did. So I have one pre-dental student who was actually able to shadow 2 different dental offices, and they were actually in person too. So I know dentistry is one of those fields right now where you'd be surprised because it's one of those fields you can't really wear a mask in that setting as a patient. So it was really interesting for him to immerse himself and have to wear all of the equipment that the dental professionals are wearing too. So that itself, if you find a professional who you have a good relationship with, they trust you and they're willing to bring you in, you can see a lot of really unique stuff in this scenario right now.
Definitely. I feel like that brings me hope for a lot of other students to be able to find opportunities. I think a lot of students are thinking, because of COVID, I shouldn't even try. But I think it's important to still try because you never know if people need assistance or you can find that shadowing opportunity that you're looking for.
Exactly. I completely agree.
A lot of great points and a lot of great experiences that students can get involved in. What about on the research route?
So on research, there's still opportunities out there for research as well. So as you can probably imagine, being in the lab might be a little bit more scarce as well to help out these professors. But with the professors you might yourself have a solid foundation with, reach out and see what kind of opportunities you can make for yourself this fall. There are some professors, you can reach out to them and maybe just offer your flexibility to work remotely, contribute by looking up research and scholarly articles online and giving them that data. That itself can still get you involved to do research this fall without potentially being in a lab if it's not open for you. Sometimes there are professors you really want to work with who might just not have an active research project right now, But if you come to them potentially with an idea that's really creative that they're interested in, there's a possibility they might, open up that opportunity and be interested in starting a new research project. So don't be afraid if there's a professor, like, I really want to work with them. They're very interested in the same topics as me, or I just have a great relationship with them. Go up and see what kind of opportunity you can form. This is also an opportunity for you to just prepare for next summer's big national research opportunities like REU, the Research Experiences for undergraduate students. I know we've mentioned these before in past webinars, but they're great ways for you to get a fully paid stipend and housing in another state potentially to do research next summer. Hopefully that's an opportunity going to be made available past COVID-19. So it's a good way for you to just gain experiences now and get ready for next summer. And lastly, we have a really exciting event that we've done yearly and is still going to be hosted this semester, but it's going to be held fully virtual. It's the Trick to the Treat of an internship or research experience. So it's going to be, as you can imagine, around Halloween. It's Wednesday, October 28th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can already find it on Handshake, and it's a fantastic opportunity to meet students who have already done research experiences on or off campus and get to talk to them and ask questions about how did they do that experience, what professor they were able to collaborate with, and you can find ways for you yourself to make something cool this semester for yourself.
And the event is virtual this year, and so we're going to have a lot of great presenters, but another way, like Danny mentioned, for you to learn how to get involved, what these opportunities entail, from the Cleveland Clinic Scholars Program to Austria Research, there's a lot of great opportunities students present on.
Perfect.
Now, thinking about experiences, and Danny and Gabby covered a lot of different things you can go into. On a weekly basis, you should be checking Handshake, which is the best place to find jobs, internships, research, and volunteer work. So what is Handshake? That is our career platform used by our office. It's used by majority of universities around the country, and it's a smart technology system. So when you go in there, it's going to ask you to upload your resume. It's going to ask you for your career interests, your long-term goals. And so every time you sign in, it provides recommendations of opportunities that could be a good fit. On your own, you could be able to search these, look at opportunities. And also all of our events are listed there. So the Trick to the Treat event, the career fairs, which I'm going to be talking about soon, all of these different internships, jobs, research, volunteer work, things that are going to give you an edge in your career and help you gain the experience you need. It uses different type of data and links, and it's not opportunities just here locally in South Florida. It's a national database. So if you're looking for opportunities, let's say back home in New York or your hometown, this also is a great system for you. Now, monthly, our office puts together newsletters called Mako Career Opportunities. And what we do is we send you a monthly newsletter organized by industry that lists all of those opportunities for you. It's also in that newsletter, you'll see upcoming events, you'll see different trends or articles to help you out, as well as different platforms outside of Handshake that can assist you on that search. So great system for you to use. It's your #1 system for events, for jobs, for opportunities, and to look at the career fair. Now, another event that can really be advantageous for you in building your resume, gaining experience, immersing yourself in research are case competitions. So every semester we host, in collaboration with NSU colleges, different case competitions by industry. And so case competitions gives you an opportunity to solve a real problem or a problem that we came up with in a mock situation and presenting it to faculty, executives, local organizations. It challenges you to think of situations in deeper. It challenges you to develop research opportunities or immerse yourself in knowledge on certain research topics. Once you're given that topic, you and a team of students, or you could do it on your own, can review this scenario and develop solutions to that problems. This is a great way to gain hands-on experience in your field and also selling points for research, scholarships, going to medical school. These case competitions really immerse yourself in understanding problems and trends that are going on in the US. So we've had competitions dealing with measles vaccine. We've had competitions dealing with HIV solutions for South Florida. Or ones that you're the director of a hospital in a Caribbean country that just got hit by a hurricane. We provide all of these scenarios that challenge you to learn about the healthcare industry, different either vaccinations or illnesses, and really challenge you to learn on how to apply that knowledge in real life situations. The great thing about case competitions, all of them equal 1 Excel unit. So you can not only gain this experience, but you can earn an Excel unit. And every case competition comes with amazing prizes for our winners. So this can come in scholarships, gift cards, cruises, and offers for internships and full-time opportunities. This fall, we have an exciting case competition known as our Health Communication Toolkit Case Competition. So you're gonna work on a team of 1 to 4 students, and you're gonna be acting almost like FDA professionals. And you're gonna select one foodborne illness, like for example, salmonella, and you're gonna immerse yourself on research on that topic and different things that come in with salmonella, the effects, the awareness of it. And then you're gonna develop a toolkit to educate the South Florida community on that common foodborne illness and the antibiotic resistance associated with it. So there's a full description on what that toolkit would entail, but this is a great portfolio builder for yourself. These are toolkits that are actually used by the CDC, the FDA. So going into a medical school interview, you're gonna be able to sell, and you've immersed yourself not only on this topic, but you've been able to develop a tangible communication toolkit. First place team will get a $300 gift card. And again, you'll get 1 Excel unit just for competing in the competition. To sign up for this competition, you can go on Handshake to learn more, but you could also email us at casecompetition at, oh, I think I stopped sharing screen. There we go. I'm sorry about that, guys. So you can learn more about this case competition by emailing us at casecompetitions@nova.edu. You could send us your team information, or if you just have questions before you sign up, we can cover that too. And this year, once you sign up, we're actually going to enroll you in a Canvas course, which has all the assignments, all the communication, everything there for you. But I can't tell you how advantageous it is to do this. This is something that could help you grow. And unlike some other research or internships, this gets to be done on your own time. So you could be able to plan out your schedule with your team, work on this week to week, and it's a great sell point for you going forward in your career. So we've talked about case competition, we talked about Handshake. Let's talk about our career fair. So typically our career fairs have been once a semester, and it's been one event for all industries. This fall, we're doing it different, and all of our career fairs are now organized by specific industries. So we went from 1 career fair a semester to about 8. And so this is going to be beneficial to you because you're going to be able to see the different employers organized by specific areas of interest. So this fall, we have 2 career fairs geared towards pre-health, exercise science, psychology, and nonprofit majors. We have another day towards marine bio and environmental science, and so on. Every day have a different focus. It's a full week of industry-specific fairs, and on that Friday, we have a graduate school and professional school fair. So this Recruit a Shark Week goes from Monday, September 14th through Friday, September 18th. So learn about jobs, internships, volunteer work, research, and your grad school options, and being able to talk to admissions counselors. Great way to gain experience. And you can find a full list of employers on Handshake. I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen real quick on how to find that on Handshake itself. So when you sign into Handshake, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see your home page. You can see how I already mentioned jobs recommended for you, opportunities. But then we're going to go ahead, and on the top, we're going to go ahead and click on events. And this pulls up all the events that we have for the semester. But we really want to look at career fairs. So we're going to hit the filter that says career fairs. And you can see right here, we have all of the different sessions available to you organized by industry. So let's say that we're going to go ahead and hit session 1 for PreHealth. And again, we have 2 different sessions with 2 different group of employers. So real beneficial for you as science and PreHealth students. If you scroll on down, you can hit show all employers, and we're getting new signups every day, but then you can see all of the different employers that are currently signed up, from Alzheimer's Association, American Red Cross, the DEA, hospices, and different organizations that have healthcare opportunities, research opportunities, or just being able to get involved and gain experience in your field. Again, this is just one different event. You could also click on the second session and see a full list of employers there. Be checking this regularly because this year our fair is virtual. And so when you sign up and register for the fair, I'll actually show you how to register right here. You'll just click on that big blue button that says register. Once you do that, you can actually start signing up for sessions. So each employer sets up their virtual availability, which are either group information sessions or one-on-one meetings with them. It's a great chance for you to share your resume, talk about that company's organization, and being able to learn more on how to apply. But a lot of great opportunities for you, a lot of ways to gain experience. And it's just one of many events that are available to you as NSU students to give you that edge in your career.
I'm personally so excited about the format this year of Recruiter Shark because it's so much different compared to what it was in the past, which is like a typical career fair with a lot of students and employers around. But getting that one-on-one with an employer or grad school admissions professional, that's really going to be so valuable for you to really build that solid impression with them. Get those 10 minutes to really ask whatever you want. It's so unique, and I'm excited for it.
I agree. It's super personalized, Emilio. I'm really, really excited about this.
It's going to be a great event, and you get to build your own schedule. So instead of waiting in lines, you know exactly when you could talk to these professionals by signing up beforehand. It's almost like a conference, and you're registering for different sessions or different speakers. So this is all beneficial to you and something that gives you as NSU students a way to really connect with employers in a virtual setting.
So I think this is us, Danny, just to wrap it up. We wanted to talk to students who are tuning in, listening, that it's so important, all of these things that we mentioned about, Recruiter Shark, case competitions, virtual volunteering, and so on. We really want you guys to dive into experiences and not feel like you can't dive into those experiences because of the pandemic, because of what's going on. But it's really important to take care of yourself during this time. I think I had said it, my previous slide, you really can't do your job or do what you need to do if you're not taking care of yourself first. So Danny, if you want to talk about kind of some of the ways.
Yeah, and Gabby, I loved what you said earlier in the beginning too about, treating yourself as human first and as a student first, and really making sure that you are filling your cup and making sure that you are being taken care of and feeling 100% going into this. One thing I know, especially for those students who might be staying at home this semester and not returning to campus, is just creating that dedicated workspace for yourself to focus and feel like you're 100% in what you're doing. You know how to de-stress in that own space or focus on your work, whatever it might be, creating a space for yourself. It could be in your home, it could be maybe someplace in a garden, in a library, whatever it is, as long as you feel like that's a place you can be you and de-stress, that's so important. And then I feel like celebrating your wins and your accomplishments along the way this semester, and even honestly, this whole year, celebrate and pat yourself on the back for being awesome and watching this webinar and doing what you can to still gain these experiences, because it's definitely not easy, but it's something worth, making yourself feel good for every step along the way during a pandemic and still gaining these experiences. And lastly, just understanding that you're not alone in this. All the pre-health and pre-med and pre-PA students are going through the same situation right now. And a lot of med schools have shown their compassion and empathy about this situation and trying to communicate that with students too. So know that you're not alone in this, and places are trying to be as flexible and give you creative options as possible. But again, just take care of yourself. Like it says in this little globe, self-care is essential. So make sure you take care of yourself too.
Yeah, and I think that the knowing you're not alone is so important. Knowing that you as a student have us to lean on. I've had many times, and I'm sure Danny and Mel, you can agree, that I have students come in my office to talk about maybe a class or to talk about a resume, but at the end of the day, we start talking about maybe their personal lives, and that's okay. We want to know about you personally because that really affects how you are in a professional setting too. So it's very important to celebrate those small wins and know that we in CAPS, career and academic, we are all here for you during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. A lot of resources available to you this time. Working with your advisor, different departments here in NSU, we want to make sure you're successful. We want to make sure you're safe and healthy. And there's a lot of opportunities or resources for you to be able to leverage during this time. So wrapping up, we're here for you as we mentioned. So we're the NSU Center for Academic and Professional Success. So if you need help with your academic planning, your career exploration, resume and cover letter, graduate school planning, add or drop classes, personal statements, or even just being able to have a conversation on future goals, your branding, your LinkedIn profile, salary negotiations, or how do I find a shadowing or research opportunity. We're here to assist you. You can schedule an appointment by calling our front desk at 954-262-7201 or visiting Handshake, or you can set up an appointment with an advisor and they can work with you on your resume building opportunities and gaining experience in your field. But also tuning into our Wake Up Real Sharks webinar. So again, we host this on a monthly basis. We're going to be adding recordings to our YouTube page as well. But this is for you to ensure you're successful. And every month we're tackling different topics. If you ever have a suggestion for us, don't hesitate to reach on out, as we'd love to hear more ideas on different topics we could tackle throughout the year.
And for our first year students tuning in too, you can now book appointments with your Edge advisor on Navigate as well. That'll be a different website for you to use and still do career and academic advising appointments. But we're so excited that you're coming in for fall soon. It's just 1 week away. So hopefully this prep was a good way for you to get to know some ideas and options you have, and remember to celebrate your wins. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.